A 5-day hearing began today for the man accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson has not entered a plea to aggravated murder and related charges. Prosecutors allege he shot Kirk while Kirk was beginning a question and answer session at Utah Valley University that back in September. Kirk's widow and parents attended this first day of the hearing, and they released a statement saying, quote, "Every court proceeding serves as a painful reminder of his death and the loss that has irrevocably impacted our lives and the lives of his children." CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins me now. Jessica, this was not a preliminary hearing. It wasn't a trial. It was something in between. Help my audience understand what it was and what happened.
So, this is a hearing to make sure that there is enough evidence for the prosecutors to be able to move forward. This is a multi day hearing. In some cases, you have a very complicated case, and prosecutors decide, let's do it quickly. Let's do it in 45 minutes. In this case, the prosecutors have said that they have a number of witnesses. We heard from some today, for instance, from a university police officer. They have a lot of evidence. We saw some today. There's autopsy videos and pictures. There are videos of the killing. And prosecutors have said this is going to take a while. So, in answer to your question, what are we doing? We're making sure that there's enough here to satisfy a judge that if you do bring this to trial, that a jury could conclude that, in fact, Tyler Robinson committed these crimes, that there was proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
And is it unusual at this stage of legal proceedings for a defendant, any defendant, to not by this time have entered a plea?
So this really is state by state in the sense of what you sometimes see is that a defendant will wait and they will wait until after this initial hearing. They'll wait until the judge makes a determination. We should be clear that I think there's really no question that a judge will find there is enough here for the case to proceed. At that point, the defendant will often enter a plea. And of course, Major, as you know, as all of this is happening, sometimes something else is happening in a parallel basis, and that is a plea discussion. So at this point, the prosecution and the defense attorney are showing their cards a little bit. They're previewing their strategy and their cases a little bit, and then there could be a conversation about a plea deal. And if a plea is not entered, then one can be entered after that.
And what role does the defense, if any, play in a proceeding of this kind, Jessica?
So the defense is doing a couple of things, but the main one is to try and poke holes in the prosecution's argument. And as we know, that really is the defense's main role throughout. The defense is not required to put on a case of its own. A defense does one thing, and it's to try and undermine the prosecution's theory that there is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So you can have a defense try and say there was an alternative suspect and create a whole different narrative. You can also just have a defense do, which is more typical at this initial stage, which is to say, are you sure that the evidence links to the defendant, and to try and throw up procedural questions and hurdles. So, but again, the defense does not have to prove anything other than trying to undermine the prosecution's case that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt if this ultimately gets to a jury.
And if events warrant, Jessica, I know we will turn confidently to you for more explanation. Thank you so much, as always.